Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Finding Your Voice podcast. This is a special one because I know y'all been waiting. Believe me, I see y'all in the DMs being like, where's the next episode? Listen, I was looking for it too, okay? We found it. We finally found the time to be here. This is our season finale of season 1 of the Finding Your Voice podcast. If there's an applause somewhere, Solomon, hit that button.
Okay.
Somewhere. We'll add it in later.
There we go.
There we go. Yes, season 1 finale. And of course, we can't end this season without having our special guest here, my co-host, Ronnie. So let's reveal Ronnie.
Hi.
Also, look at the luscious hair. Come on. Yes. Come on, Herbal Essences. Let's go.
I just came from the salon, so
Yeah.
new look.
There
Ooh,
you
it
go.
is. Ooh, there it is. Yes. I was telling Ronnie that it's cool because she's repping a Beetlejuice shirt, and I'm repping Friends because my favorite TV show, celebrating 30 years. So we're both repping Warner Brothers, which is funny because that's where I work. But yeah, we're super excited to be here and doing this season finale. Ronnie, we talked about like having like a dream panel at some point during the season, and a lot of things just didn't pan out just because of our own schedules and things like that. And so very last minute, I was like, let's ditch that idea and let's just recap and take a look at like little bits of each episode, kind of seeing the trajectory of doing this podcast from like day one. Because it's crazy. If you think about it, it's over a year, 2 years or something like that.
Year and a half. This hasn't been like a consecutive episode podcast. It's kind of been like, when we have time, especially since we both at the start of this podcast, we're both unemployed. Yes. And we're trying to find our ways. Now that we're fully employed, both of us in industries that we've vied for forever. Now our schedules are kind of like a little too tight.
Insane. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's funny because like it's that same like mentality of like once you open the floodgates, then everybody just comes rushing in. Is it funny? Like everything happens all at once, but then when there's nothing happening, yeah,
No, I get it.
It's so true. So it has been quite the journey, and I just thought it would be a great idea, and I'm glad that you're on board about like revisiting and seeing how much we've grown as in our connection as friends, in our own career paths, and also just like stepping into this unknown world. I remember walking in here for the first time being like, this is a little daunting. I know for you specifically, seeing all the cameras. What was that like for you?
Oh man, just sitting here, I was shaking. Yeah. I'm like, just nerves, just like constantly touching my hair, fixing my shirt.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then, once like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 happened on the screen, and Solomon's like, okay, the light on this camera, that's where you need to look. And the light would turn on me like this. And like just kind of freeze. But once we just started shooting the shit and talking to each other like how we normally talk, there was a sense and ease of speaking. And
oh gosh, there's a clip. Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's episode 1. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, Michael! Now you have glasses.
I know. Oh yeah, that too. Yes, for the viewers at home, you might not know.
And I have bangs now.
We're going out with a bang. High five. Bang. Hey, let's go. Bang, bang into the. Yeah, I have glasses now, and I asked Solomon.
My skincare is. Oh my God, I'm glowing.
Yeah, I know. She skincare. A lot of growth has happened, even like physically as well. But yeah, I got glasses, and I was worried about like there being a glare with the cameras and all.
I mean, like if you turn to your left, there's a huge glare, but like if you just stay right here, or
I'm right here.
There's no glare there.
Okay, there's no glare. Confirmed.
Oh, good. Okay.
Cool. I look like I'm in like a Lens Crafters commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to give my recollection here.
Oh gosh. Okay, go Solomon.
Go
All right,
Solomon.
so I remember when you guys first came, there was just this whole aura of vulnerability and timidity. Like, I remember Michael, you were talking about your voice and the issues you were having with it, and I just felt all of this pain and this disappointment and all of this from you having had this career and all the things you did with your voice, and now having that main thing be taken away from you, for at least temporarily, and you felt unsure about as to if it was going to come back or how much. And then I remember Ronnie Ronnie was just scared. Like,
I'm scared.
And it was bigger than this.
Yeah.
I felt like you were scared of your life for a minute. Like your life was at this crossroads and you didn't know where you were going. And both of you guys were sort of almost like consoling each other, in that fear, and sort of saying, okay, despite that, we're going to come out and we're going to do this thing. We're going to put this out and we're going to share this with other people. And I remember just thinking that was like, I've never seen people come in that vulnerable to start something and still start it. You know what I mean? And I thought that was very brave of both of you.
Oh my gosh.
Which begs the question, not question, but like, which brings up the good point that like this being the season finale and this being a good wrap up of like our journeys.
Yeah.
Because we did come in and it was, for me at least, absolutely terrifying. You could hear in my voice back then, like the trepidation, the like unsureness of saying something. And here I am a year and a half later. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this mic. Like, it's here.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to speak whatever I think.
Thank you for pointing that out, Solomon, because I do remember walking in here and I think Ronnie and I had this like agreement that we're just gonna go in and just be as open as possible, and offer transparency, because at the end of the day, we just want to show that we are all human and that we have stories to tell and that they're worth sharing. And I'm so glad that I got to be on this journey with you and to share it with you, because it's been really rewarding. Just to see our paths kind of unfold in the way that they have. And it's funny, Solomon said that like we didn't have jobs when we started this. Essentially, we were like in and out of jobs, and now we do have jobs. Some of it part-time, full-time, but there's growth in there, and
a lot of pain, a lot of
pain.
Growth.
I mean, I saw you well up a little bit just with Solomon talking about how you walked in here scared. I was terrified as well, even though I am comfortable being in the camera. Talking about my own journey about losing my voice and stuff is scary as shit. And Solomon asked me when I walked in, like, how it's been. And I feel the most confident in my voice, in my own skin than ever before. And I'm like singing now.
Yeah.
And actually having the confidence to be on stage now. Like, I can't wait. I want to go back on stage so bad. So
I think we touched on that last time. Yeah. Remember you were talking about like your on-stage performance for work?
Oh yeah, that's right. At my talent show.
Yeah. And then that was amazing. Like, not a revelation, but kind of a revisiting of an old passion. Because you doing that and feeling the rush of it. Yeah. It's kind of back into like when we were younger and you would do plays, musicals, and just seeing your energy and your vibrancy like come to life. Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
There's
nothing.
nothing.
I know you're continuing on in that sort of path, that sort of journey.
Yeah.
Obviously doing your lives and singing and stuff. So, yeah, like it's from the beginning of this podcast. We're changed. We're changed.
It's
folks.
wicked.
Yeah.
It's Glinda, Alphabet. Yeah. If you haven't seen Wicked, by the way, it's the most amazing film.
Is this the second episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I don't even remember what that episode was about.
Well, you guys already look more comfortable.
I know. Like I'm crossing my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even you. Yeah.
Yeah. We like got more casual. The first one, we're like, let's wear something corporate and formal.
And I remember I didn't have to
like work out.
I think episode two was more focused on my journey specifically with my voice, because I remember I was listening to a little bit on the drive here, and this is where like, Michael, you're an actor. You're an actor. I didn't see you as a singer, and that was something that was so mind blowing to me, because I always thought that y'all knew that I wanted to sing, and I've been singing since I was 4 years old, and so when you had pointed that out to me, that was like huge for me, because I'm like, wait, does everybody else just think of me as an actor? And I think in watching this and experiencing this, I'm realizing I'm like, oh, I'm not just those things.
Yeah. Since this episode, you have had you've had a major acting gig. Oh. And I wonder if you're going to kind of delve into this.
I don't know if Solomon knows this, but you're looking at the co-star of Kevin Hart in the Lay's commercial. So you might have seen the commercial pop up on your.
Wait, what?
Yeah, see,
really?
Yeah, Solomon didn't know that he didn't know he's gonna have to open up a tab for those. Just search Kevin Hart Lays on YouTube. You can find it there. And yes, that's part of me exploring those other avenues. And I'm not avenues that I've never been down before. It's these avenues that have always been a part of me. So
has that experience opened you up to more opportunities? Has the auditioning pool been like more free flowing?
Well, the state of our industry right now, in Hollywood specifically, is that you probably get a little bit of that insight. It's kind of slow. People
very slow.
People thought that after the strike that it'd be like, or back to the thing. No. It's incredulously slow. So much so that the governor of California, Governor Newsom, wants to like reinstate and bring people back to LA because everyone's doing productions outside of here because it's just too expensive.
It is very expensive
to be here. So on one end, no, it didn't lead to more opportunities. Yeah. What it did for me is give me the confidence that I can do this. And it's probably my biggest break, if you will, quote unquote, that I've ever experienced as an actor. And it's been super incredible. And to see people kind of watching me in that way. And it feels so fucking good. And cool to say you're in a fucking national commercial for my favorite potato chip brand ever. I love Lay's. And it was just an incredible, you talk about the stars aligning in that moment. Did I ever tell you how I got it?
You kept everything hush hush until the moment.
Oh, do you want me to expand on it? Okay, I can briefly. Did you bring up the thing? Did you find
I haven't found it yet. Kevin
Hart Lays on YouTube. Just
that's what I'm. That's what
it should be unless they took it down. Anyway, so I had gotten that audition like Friday. I submitted the tape. It was due like Sunday. I submitted that tape that night. Saturday, I was at work. I got an email from my rep saying, "Hey, you got a call back, but the callback's on Sunday." Oh. And I had work Sunday. Yeah. So I was like, "Oh shit, what do I do? Do I call out?" She's like, "Call out. Call out. Do I call out or do I go to work and then just kind of like let me take a break and try to do it on my phone?" And I thought, no, that's probably not the best idea. If you really want to like be in the moment and really sell it, Michael, be at home in your space because that's where you feel the most safe to play. At work in a fucking parking structure, probably not. And Yeah. And I did. I called out and said, "I'm sick." And it was the risk that I was willing to take because I love this job, and it paid off because after that, I got to meet in the callback. I got to meet the director, which was like a little Zoom sort of thing. You can't see the director, but they were just directing you from the side. And I did my takes, and I'm like, "Okay, Michael, thank you." It was like 5 minutes. Monday, I get an email from my agent that said that I was on avail, meaning they're just checking availability, not necessarily booked yet. You're just on avail. And then a few hours passed by. I'm at work, and I'm like, "Oh my God, if I don't hear anything, I'm just going to make my peace with it. I probably didn't get it, whatever." I didn't hear anything, and I thought I was going to get a call. I'm driving down the 710. I look at my phone, and it says booking Michael Barnum, and I scream. I scream in the car, and I'm like,
"That's awesome.
Fuck yeah, amazing." And it's like rush hour traffic, and I go, I booked it. I fucking did it. And the next thing you know, I'm on set with Kevin Hart saying my line.
How is working with him? Is he as amazing as I've heard?
Well, he was very personable? In his zone because the commercial was actually put on by his production studio, Heartbeat Productions, I think. And when he had arrived on set, he was very because they had to film the entire commercial, and it's like a minute and 30-second commercial, not your on average 30-second commercial, Solomon. And there was other stars in it, like that dude from TikTok, Jordan, as well as Mario Lopez and stuff.
Okay.
And I was the first one that they had to film. So no pressure there.
Oh, because you were like technically like the AD.
Yeah, I was a PA, production assistant. Production assistant to Kevin Hart, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I should put that in my bio. But yeah.
Oh, there you are.
There it is.
Okay, let me find. Let me because it looked like it was
somebody else.
Well, it just showed Mario Lopez, but let's see.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail. Yep.
All right.
There it is. Oh my God, here we go.
They need to pay you for this, Solomon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you.
That's me. Yeah, it's a whole minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was an entire day of filming. And it felt super cool just to be in that space.
Yeah.
And the whole thing I was telling myself the whole entire show, I was like, Michael, you deserve to be here. Cause your mind goes to places where you're like, oh, I don't deserve to be here. I'm not worthy of this.
Oh yeah.
And I just go, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I had arrived on set. And forgive me for like showboating here, but like I arrived on set and they were like, did you eat breakfast? I was like, yeah, I was going to stand in line. She's like, you don't have to stand in line with the extras. You're our talent. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, we'll order you a breakfast. You want breakfast burrito? I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, we'll deliver it to your dressing room. I was like, I have a dressing room. It was just so like that Hollywood magical moment. And I have been pining for a moment like this for so long. And this has been a dream, a long time coming. So
well, now you have something that's substantial in your reel.
Absolutely.
And then you have something substantial to put on your portfolio, your resumes, everything. So it does open the door for you. It like, door stopped.
Yeah, you got the scene right next to him too. So it's not like you guys weren't in the same room together. I was literally
towering over him because he is.
Yeah.
He's very tall. But yeah.
Well, for the sake of this podcast, he is 6 foot.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate high five. Yes. 5'11 3/4, 6 feet for rounding. Yes.
Yes. Because, our friend does want to get hired back in case.
Yes. 5'11 3/4. Yeah. Lots of range, very comedic, but no, I wanted to tie it back to you because, that for me, stepping into that world was, so amazing. So how have you seen your own career trajectory, your path? Are you able to walk into rooms now with that confidence now? Because there was an episode, I forget which one it was, where you were talking about the corporate voice or how you hold yourself up in a room with corporate people and the corporate jobs. So
it's been different. It's definitely been a journey. I think now since then I've gone back on my depression meds, and then I took up running. Did my first marathon in October.
Let's go. Nice. I want to do a 5K, by the way.
Do it.
Just to say I did it.
You know what? Yeah. I think because you run every day, right? Or most days.
From my problems, yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and then I got back to therapy. I've been going back to therapy for every single week, and it's been extremely helpful. And yeah, it's while I love this space for being vulnerable, I don't think this is the appropriate venue to be like, here's all my problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I felt like sometimes with some of these episodes, I've kind of just bled out. And
did you feel drained from it after a while?
I didn't feel drained. I felt buzzy right after, but energized. But the same token, it's like in my head, I'm like, that is a little too much. That is not me at my best self.
Yeah. You felt like sharing too much of yourself wasn't
I feel like at that time, it was what it was, and that's fine. Just looking back, I feel like, I could see where the cracks of my psyche and
I see.
My emotional and spiritual.
I know, I get that. I understand empathically what that might seem like for you, because it's one thing to talk about in a personal setting. If we're just having a phone call conversation, you'd probably be like, yeah, Michael, oh my God, I've been going through this, all this stuff. But then to do it on a stage, essentially, and you see yourself in that way, I can see how that can feel very scary and vulnerable. And it's icky almost just to see that. But can I just say, seeing you here in front of this camera and you talking about your life in the way that you have and how dedicated you are and your courage to speak about these things is so inspiring. It truly is. And I think people who are in the same boat as you, who might not be as vocal, are going to be able to have more courage to speak up because of people like you. So just know, I don't know if you have any regrets in doing any of this.
No, I have no regrets.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you being there says so much.
Of course. And again, this is part of my journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, being as vulnerable and then looking back and being like, okay, that was a lot to display out. I have no regrets in doing it. I just think that my journey to this point that needed to happen, me at this point would probably not, open a vein.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And that's part of like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that like I've learned in all conversations and in all modes of presentations, corporate and otherwise, that I do have to rein in the vulnerable side of me, because I've in those situations, if I come off too vulnerable, it's a no-go in the corporate world. It's a no-go in presentation situations. It's interpersonal relations on like Zoom meetings, comes off as being too much, which I have no problem being too much for the sake of keeping my employment. I have to rein it in just a bit.
Yeah.
Here I can be too much. I don't give a shit. Like,
there's a level of a threshold that you can't pass.
Oh, of course. I think it's more of like controlling my inner rage.
As she laughs, rage. Yeah.
Controlling my inner rage and not keeping my emotions in check, but kind of like not letting it be the bigger voice. And it's not that I'm super restraining myself, just restraining myself enough.
Yeah, it's protecting your peace.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Because I could be extremely vocal. I could talk about like my favorite topics, especially with my therapist and my husband, have been like politics, have been the things going on in the world, the unfairness of just things in general. And I find myself being extremely vocal in those situations, but knowing, like I can do something about it. I can rein it in, but also do something about it.
Yes.
Use my voice, but use my voice for the greater good.
That's right.
Because who's gonna trust somebody who's gonna trust somebody who is like, whose emotions are just overflowing. Yes, there's a level of vulnerability, but is there a way for that person who's speaking out all those emotions to channel it to something? Is there a point to it? Is there, the message that needs to be said?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just brain farted right here.
No, so I think because it's one thing to, like you said, restrain your emotions and kind of keep that to yourself. But then if you're able to still stand up for what your values are and stuff, that's big. That's huge, because there's a lot of people who are waiting in the wings who don't speak up at all. And so I'm glad that it sounds like you found a balance to be able to honor yourself, your beliefs and things like that, without stepping on anyone's toes, and also, being respectful of the workspace or whatnot. So, yeah. So
I've gotten to a point where like I say what needs to be said.
That's good.
And I don't put too much emotion into it. Because if I get too emotionally wrapped into it, then it affects my mental health.
That's fair.
And yeah.
I will say my new favorite word, like in just like the last few months and going into the new year, is the word no. Because I'm such a people pleaser. I'm always trying to like bend over backwards. Like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be, biting off more than I can chew. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll just do it because I'm trying to be nice. When I don't have the capacity to help you.
Yeah.
Like I've had to tell my mom sometimes where she'll be like, I come home from a really stressful day at work where I'm like inundated with all these deadlines. She asked for one thing and I just go, no, Mom, I can't. I don't have the capacity for it. I cannot help you right now. And that was scary because I know that when she heard that, she was kind of like, oh, I thought I was gonna, they're expecting you to say yes all the time.
Yeah.
And that has been so like a revelation for me, saying no. And it's my favorite word.
Boundary setting. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
I think since the first episode, like I've strengthened my boundaries, in all conversations, in all scenarios, and I'm not afraid to say no.
Good.
I don't think I've ever been afraid to say no, but I am more of a people pleaser where I would say no, but I'll eventually do it.
Eventually. Do you find the dynamic different with, like, say, your significant other as opposed to family members and stuff?
Yeah.
It's a difference, like a code switch.
Yeah, it's definitely a code switch. I think with my immediate family, they don't ask much of me. So when they do ask, I tend to oblige. But if I can't, then I straight up can't. I'll tell them. Same thing with my husband. He's gotten very familiar when I'm not in a particular mood, and or if, like, I've had a really long day. He's kind of picked up on the visual cues of, like, oh, you're stressed out. Let me just leave you alone. And that's, and that's coming from, like, the weeks and months of therapy that both myself and him have done. And yeah, our communication a lot better.
That's good.
Our boundaries are a lot stronger.
Boundaries are so important, and you need to have them in almost every relationship. It has been the saving grace for literally my relationship with my parents, specifically my mom. Like, I've had to set boundaries about, like, finances, because there were moments where she had to, like, to ask me for money, like, that I didn't have, and I would just, like I was mentioning before, I would just like, yeah, here, this is what I have, and then I go, holy shit, wait, I didn't pay my credit card bill.
Right.
You took $800 of my entire check or whatever's in my checking account, and I just can't do that anymore. I go, Mom, I'm like, I can only help you if I can help myself. I will help you when I can, but I cannot just, like, fork over everything I have, because I still have a life myself. And this has been a dynamic.
That's understandable.
That is to be unpacked in a future episode or whatnot, but it is, that has been, like, really, really a hurdle specifically with me.
Well, I'm glad, like, you're setting that boundary, especially with your parents. You are an only child, so, like, you do need to set, those expectations of what you will and will not allow for yourself. And with me and my sisters, like, we share the responsibilities. So if one can't do it, then the other two can try to do it. So it's always been, like, split. And it makes your situation extremely unique, very, very unique.
Yeah. Which is why I want to expand on it.
Probably in another episode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
No, but I also want to be vocal, quote unquote vocal about it on my own personal brand. Like, I want to open up a conversation about this, because I don't think it's talked about as much, especially in with Filipino American parents or even in Asian households. Like, this, like, unannounced debt that you feel it is owed to your parents, your family. It's not spoken. They're like, hey, you're expected to take care of my marriage. You're expected to take care of me financially. It's not spoken. No, it's almost implied, and you just feel it. And
it's because there's that. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
Like, it's because of this notion, and they bring it from the Philippines, of you have to take care of your parents. You always have to respect your elders, and they gave you life, and thereby you should be grateful. Like, that is something that, like, my mom and dad have always iterated. I was a preemie baby. I was a sickly child. So my parents always harped on, like, you were difficult growing, like, when you were born, when you were growing up, like, you should give your parents more grace. You should give your parents more gratitude.
Right.
You should be grateful. So I always operated in this mindset of, like, I have to please my parents. They gave me life. They gave me everything I need.
Planted that in our head.
Exactly.
But see the toxicness of that?
There is a toxicity in it, yes. In terms of, like, you owe them something. But in reality, you're born, have a life.
Yes.
What you choose to do with your life is a blessing to your parents, who should see it as a blessing. It's hard to get our parents, who are old Filipinos, from that mindset, and it's their journey to kind of sort of realize it themselves. It's not our job to make them realize it. It's not. It's not our jobs to consistently remind them like, hey, like, this is not how it is here.
You just do it.
You just do it.
Yeah.
And so me and my sisters, we are in a habit of like, we'll take care of our mom. We'll give her everything she needs. In a sense that she's trying to enforce those like opinions, those values. We'll shut her down. And then we do what we want. We do what we need to.
I love that. Yeah.
You know?
It's just hard, I think. Now I'm lamenting a little bit, but like it's just hard because I talk to my therapist. She talks about this idea of triangulation because it's me, dad, mom. So if mom's upset, mom doesn't really go to dad because they don't really communicate very well. It goes to me. And then I have to like absorb that and try to relay that back to my mom so that she can talk to me. It's all of that. I don't have a sibling to talk to and be like, hey, this is happening. Can you help? No, I don't have that. So I almost feel like I am like treading water.
Yeah.
The water's up to my neck and drowning essentially in some.
A boundary you could set between your mom and dad. Be like, no, I hear you, but you need to communicate that to the other person.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that with my mom specifically. And I think it's helped a little bit.
Right.
Just having these difficult conversations have been instrumental in this entire journey. But yeah, it's cool.
It's definitely a topic for another episode.
Absolutely,
we went a little deep dive here,
I know.
but
we need it.
It's a good thing.
I'm glad we gave our space to talk about that because we have very similar experiences in that. The other episode I'm thinking about is the episode that you weren't here. It was our first guest, which was Nicholas.
Yeah.
Love you, Nicholas, if you're listening. And I remember you being like, oh, I can't make it, so just be you, Nicholas. And I felt bad. I was like, oh, I really want her here. But then also, I think it'd be really fun if it's just me and Nicholas because our dynamic is super fun. You guys have a
different dynamic.
So I almost
vibe and banter.
Yeah, not that I was celebrating you not being there for that episode. I think it was a blessing and sort of like it needed to be that way because I got to like really delve in deeply with his story and stuff, and you can see our dynamic together. And I was so super excited to have him as the first guest. And I knew. I even told her, I was like, Nicholas has to be the first guest because he has been part of my journey, especially in my creative path for such a long time. I call him my tiger mom, and it's clear why that is.
You can definitely see it in the interaction you guys have.
Yeah.
Like for the next season.
Those thighs, by the way.
You know what? He's rocking it.
He runs too.
He's rocking it. So that's a great thing. My suggestion for the next season.
Yeah.
Have him on as a co-host.
Oh, absolutely.
More than one episode.
Yeah.
Saying,
hit the like button if you want more Nicholas on the Finding Your Voice podcast. Yeah, because he's such a fireball of energy, and I'm just so inspired by him. Since that video, his episode, he has he went on to do his play that we did invite you to. You weren't able to go to. It was fantastic, amazing, and it was such a rocking good time. It was such a successful show that they were sold out like almost every single night.
I saw it on his post.
Yeah, and then he's got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. I think shortly after that, he went and did like another play festival in Chicago. So there's so much movement happening with his career. So I was super excited to talk to him about his creative path, and then him also finding his voice as a writer. Because he gets to speak for those type of people who don't really get to be heard, and so he sheds light on those stories that don't really get told. And
for sure.
So I love you, Nicholas. Thank you for being on the Finding Your Voice podcast.
Yeah, should invite him more.
I will
share his voice.
Yes, I don't know. Should he open season 2? We'll find out.
I think he should.
What was episode? Do you remember episode 4? Did we go to
episode 4?
I
believe
that was vulnerability.
Yeah, that was hers, and we talked about.
That's
I
right.
showed
That's right.
some shots.
Oh, and then 5 would be merge. That's the most recent episode.
Right.
We talked about vulnerability in episode 4.
It was the first time we used the big studio. Oh my God! Yes.
Well, this one was with merge.
Yes, merge.
Yes, I have been vigorously journaling since.
Have you?
She got me a nice little leather journal.
Oh, I remember that episode. Yeah, she was talking
and
about
then
that.
How's that like?
It's been amazing. It like she says, it keeps the chatter in my head to a minimum. Every single day that I write, like my intentions become clearer, and how I operate is kind of like I'm liking this to somebody who's just a little unsteady. So that has been my MO for the last, I don't know how many years, being unsteady, being shaky, being, too afraid. And what journaling has done has put my fears, my thoughts, my just randomness on pages and keeps it there.
There's something about like writing that down, like physically, that does something for you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that has been a part of your journey, because I remember shortly after that she literally made us a group chat and was like the journal girlies. I don't know what it was.
Journal club
or whatever, and she'll write us prompts to write about.
I'm sorry, Merge. I've never written alongside your prompt. However, you did remind me to write that day. So
I'm sorry, Merge, that I have not written about the prompt either. It's funny that you are on your journal. You're in your journal era. I actually took a break from journaling, and I haven't actually opened the book and wrote in there in a while. I don't know why. I haven't really looked at that yet, but
okay. There's a book that I've been following called The Artist's Way.
I have that.
Yeah, so
I should open it up.
Yeah, it's a 12-week spiritual journey in which there are two methods to it. One is the morning pages. You have to write 3 whole pages every single morning, and it's free write. So it's my favorite type of writing, where you just say whatever. Some mornings I'm like, fuck this, don't want to go to work. God damn, I don't want to deal with this. Like it's just
word
random.
vomit. Yeah,
it's
on
word
paper.
vomiting,
Yeah.
or like this. My last journal entry, I had the norovirus, and so I was like, I can't get up from the couch, like just random shit.
Yeah,
but it's the fact of putting your chatter in your head onto the page that helps you become clearer in your day.
Right.
And yeah, I want to thank Merge for reintroducing that into my life, because it's been extremely valuable. But harkening back to the Artist's Way, the second part of it is artist dates, where you take yourself out on a date, just you, to anything, exploring a new cafe, going to a museum, thrifting, even though you're not going to buy anything, just doing something for yourself, once a week, 1 to 2 hours. And I have found it extremely helpful. I've only done 2 artist dates. One was I was learning my tarot cards, and that was kind of at home, but it was raining, so I couldn't go out. And then the second was I went to Marshall's, and I walked around just shopping.
You shopped.
Just shopping for myself, but not having any expectations in my head.
Sure.
Just going around the aisles and seeing, oh, I like this. That's great. And if I wanted to buy something, I bought something. But I was doing it intentionally for myself.
Yeah. There's a level of self-care in that as well, because you're giving back to yourself. And
The Artist's Way is caring for yourself, caring for your inner spirit, your inner child. And it's...
I'm going to definitely
you need to crack
open
it
that
open,
book.
Book
it's funny enough, because we were talking about Nicholas. Nicholas was like, you need to get the book. And I was like, okay, I'll order it. And then it was sitting in the trunk of my car for months.
Yeah.
Until I finally looked at it.
I feel like for season 2, you should be it'll be one of your book recommendations.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an artist that I really like nowadays, Dochi. And
oh my God, I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, I love her to bits. But her journey started where she had a YouTube channel, and she was doing every single week, I believe, or every single day, the Artist's Way.
So I didn't know that.
At the end of it, she was starting to become big. Like it unlocks
That's so crazy.
your inner critic.
Yeah.
It silences it. It allows you to become the more authentic version of you.
Which is what we all want to,
Exactly.
especially as artists
Exactly.
and storytellers and creators. We want to get to that
Yeah.
truth.
I mean, like it's part of my inner confidence right now. The fact that I've been doing this, like I'm not afraid to sit here and talk on the mic.
Yeah, you look so comfortable. Yeah, no, so cool. I love that you mentioned Doechii because she just nabbed the Grammy for
fucking awesome.
best. I did not know of her. Well, I knew of her, but I'm late to the bandwagon. I'm sorry, but I'm like here for it. Yeah. She's an incredible artist, and she has been at this for years.
And like the way the poetry of her lyrics, does not give a fuck.
No,
audiences.
Fuck yeah,
it's for her, and you can tell those lyrics that she speaks are for her.
And the art is it speaks for itself.
Oh, exactly,
it's beautiful.
Exactly. She's on repeat on my workout.
Oh, absolutely. Denial as a River is like
it's perfection.
It's so good, and it almost sounds like if you listen to the track, it sounds like a podcast because they're like let's unpack about, and it's fantastic, and
it's just her and her inner voice.
Absolutely, it's so great. I'm like here for it, Doechii, but to talk about like the trajectory of her career, there was like a viral video of her where she's like, I just got laid off from her job, and she's like, I guess I'm gonna go to the studio, and then she cooked that album during that downtime. So it just goes to show that when a door closes, another one opens, and it just, your inner compass is always leading you to where you need to go. You just got to trust yourself more. So
of course, like I find myself planning for the future, but not in an anxiety like, oh, I don't know what to do. More kind of like I'm taking assured steps, and if it doesn't fucking work out, then I'm pivoting. Like I have that confidence and ability to know that I'm resilient in anything that I do.
That's good. It's great. Yeah. It's been really rewarding to kind of to watch your journey unfold. And I remember when we started this thing, I was probably more motivated to create than you were because you were just like, I fucking hate the corporate world. Like you were just like so bummed about losing that job that you probably didn't know if you were going to get out of it. And look at you. You did it. And
I did do it.
You did.
And now I'm like 50-hour weeks and
but you're getting that money, honey.
Large ass film at the end of the year, so I'm booked and busy.
That's good.
But yeah,
that's great.
At the same token, I'm still delving in and trying to find myself. I know I want to be in a place where like I can speak openly and freely like this, and have the confidence to do so. I do struggle. I really do struggle still in a corporate setting, in meetings and such. But if I need to speak, I'm going to. If it comes out trash, so be it.
Do you think your younger self, maybe like 3-4 years ago, would have been as vocal as you are now?
Maybe. I think myself 3 years ago, when I still had my steady job.
Yeah.
Probably would have been more crass, more word vomity, emotional. And 3-4 years ago, my dad had died. So like, I just didn't give a fuck. So my confidence probably then would have been like, burn everything to the ground. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I think the trajectory from that to this is there's a level of maturity.
Absolutely.
I
think you're moving with intention now.
Yeah.
And thinking with intention and having like a goal set in mind, and I think, know what you want and what you don't want now, which is great. That's the growth. And that's the work you've been putting in all your relationships and all that. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's definitely been a journey. I think through the episodes you could kind of see like where we started and then like the growth as we went on to like right now where it's like I have no fear of this.
Yeah.
Stare at that camera. Hi.
Stare. Yes, stare at the camera.
Talking to this mic.
Yeah. Because I think your younger self would be like, this is scary.
No, my younger self would definitely not be sitting across from you with a mic in front of my face and a camera pointed to me speaking.
Yeah.
Like that shit scared the fuck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know this, like I've never been one to openly go in front of an audience of any sort.
Mm-hmm. That's why I applaud you, because
Yeah.
you had the courage to go there and do it. There's a lot of people who would be like, I really want to do it, but I don't know if I can. You just got to fucking do it. And you fucking did it. And you're sitting here and you're talking about your life as openly as possible with restraints, you know, but it's just really beautiful to watch.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
My next kind of goal in life, one of my like artist dates that I want to do is,
what's up?
Is a couple of them actually. Just one of my artist dates, I want to go to an open mic, just kind of observe the vibe. And then another artist date of mine is to actually go on stage.
And do what? Speak?
Slam poetry.
Oh my God, I got chills. Wait, please, if that is where, like, something that might be calling you, please go do it. And then if you want support, I'm happy to, like, I would love to be there to watch your first, like, thing. But if you want to just kind of get your toes wet and just do it yourself and make that be your thing, absolutely.
For sure.
I am 100% behind that. I think that you have a lot to share. And slam poetry, there's some, I mean, you're in your Dochi phase right now. Let's be honest. You want to be like, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I had written a verse. I don't have it, obviously, and I don't remember it.
So drop some bars. Drop the beat, Solomon.
Nah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I had written something because I was, like, extremely frustrated with the way the world's going and how fucked up the outside world is that it's even more fucked up that I had to go into work and pretend nothing's happening.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, I wrote a little verse to myself, and then I was reading it back. I'm like, fuck, if I can just speak this out, like, what would that sound like? Then I did it in front of my therapist, and she's like, that was really good. I'm like, okay.
Wait, no,
maybe I have a little bit of talent for this. Because, like, I've been harping to my therapist, like, I want to write. Yeah. Like, I sit in front of my laptop, my notebook, and I'm trying to come up with these elaborate stories and such, like how I used to in high school. But they weren't coming in the way that I want. Then, all of a sudden, strike of inspiration, spirit guides, you know, the divine, whatever, gave me this download of a poem. And yeah, and that's kind of, it's like I just want to go with it. It's not anything hard. I'm not making it a goal of mine. It's something I'd like to do.
Okay. Please keep me up to I'm so invested in that.
For sure. I did take a poetry class in like college where I did stand
That's right, with Dr. Scher.
No? Dr. Scher was high school.
Oh, in college.
Yeah,
sure.
Where it was a straight up poetry class and like we had to present our poems in front of an audience of people. Gosh. And I was just a wreck. But I felt so energized.
Oh my gosh.
Being on stage is a different... Like,
oh, absolutely. And the way you talk about it, I can see because you're smiling. You're like glowing, literally glowing when you talk about
it's the
slam
skincare,
poetry.
But okay.
Yes. But I think it's really exciting. Please continue gnawing at whatever that bone is, because I think you might find something that could be really life-changing for you.
I've also found that my dreams have changed too. Ooh. In terms of like from the beginning of when we first started this podcast. Before I was like, I just want to be in entertainment. I just want to be, you know, a part of that world. Now that I am inundated with this world, it's not as glorious and glamorous as I had imagined. And, you know, I love my job to an extent. I love my job to an extent. However, is it where I'm being called to? In my gut, my intuition, it's not. And I'm not saying this is my survival job, but I know that I feel like I'm destined for something else. I'm destined for something greater. And whether that's for myself or on behalf of others. I'm leaning towards being on behalf of others. I don't want this life to be me being behind the scenes. Not saying that I want to be in front of a camera or in front of an audience. I just want to advocate for people, for situations that are greater than myself. And I don't know what platform that may be or what method that may come about. I'm just letting fate decide that for me.
Yeah.
But now that I've found my voice, I want to use it for the greater good. I want to use it on behalf of other people.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. My therapist is trying to get me to like look up meetup groups for like protests and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because you seem very politically charged.
Oh, I'm heavily politically
Oh, girl.
charged.
No, I literally, it's transparency, responded to somebody, a family member's Instagram story with their misinformation. And I debated about doing it. It has led to a back and forth DM of just like link after link. You're wrong. This. And I was like, I stepped away from it.
You have to.
And I realized a boundary setting. I was like, we're not going to agree on these politics.
No.
Because at the end of the day, this is about morale. It's not really about politics. So I'm stepping away from this conversation to protect both of our mental health.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
what's happening in the world is greater than all of us. And if you can't find your voice to speak up about it, like, then it's harsh to say, but you're complicit. You're complicit in what's happening. And I don't want to be, if my legacy is anything, I don't want it to ever be like I was ever complicit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
And yeah, I find myself leaning that way. I find myself leaning towards trying to be more active in my community.
Yeah.
And
do it. Stand on your fucking soapbox and speak up. Because if you don't, like, somebody else will. But frankly, a lot of people won't. They won't speak up. And some people need a vessel like you to help bring those issues to light and to speak about it. I'm very politically active. I'm probably the most politically active I've ever been before. I was so transparent about voting for whom I voted for the last election that it got backlash from other people and stuff. And I'm like, at this fucking point, it is not about politics. It is about morale. And so I am fucking okay with losing family members because of how they chose to decide on who was right to be in office and who. Again,
I'm not saying I lost family members because I've kind of, after my dad had died, I've like detached from certain family members, and like you don't owe them anything. If they believe what they believe, so be it.
Yeah,
like it's how you communicate your beliefs and impact other folks who want to feel like they are heard. And yeah. I mean, my therapist put this in perspective. Yes, there's shitty shit things going on in the world, but what you can hold on to, and what you can drive towards is hope. If you can be a beacon of hope, all the better. And like that's what stuck with me, being a beacon of hope. And I think wrapping this back up. From the first episode to now, I've never had a driving force. Now I do. Everything I do it in the greatest good, with no harm to anybody, and all in a lines of hope.
That's so beautiful. That's amazing. I'm so glad. I mean, you did your homework. It sounds like. Yeah. And
I mean, I after the TikTok ban. By the way, if this is giving any time concept, but like after the TikTok ban, I deleted TikTok. I was one of those people, and I couldn't get it back. And so I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm off of social media entirely. And that was so hard the first fucking week. I shit you not. I was on my phone. I'm literally trying to pretend to scroll because I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't. And then like,
withdrawals. Yeah.
the withdrawals, it was very bad. But after that first week, the chatter in my head silenced.
Oh.
And what's important to me and like was me doing my due diligence and doing my own research versus having an app tell me that. Having an app tell me what to think. Especially now that TikTok is like government owned. They're going to tell you what to think. They're going to tell you how to feel. They're going to instruct you in the way, shape, form that you consume your media. And so,
just scary.
Yeah. So I've, as much as TikTok is back and I'm here for it, I do appreciate being away from the platforms for a bit to have this mindset of like there's so much more out there. There's so many communities, so many groups who are begging for interpersonal communication, who are begging for connection besides these apps and having a platform to stand on. And so like, I'm not saying I'm going to create an app or whatever. I'm just saying like, let's all find each other. Yeah.
I gave up Twitter.
You should get on Blue Sky.
I'm on Blue Sky.
I'm on Blue Sky.
And it has been, I was very surprised that it was a lot easier to give up than, I thought I would be like, oh my God, I need to check Twitter.
No.
I'm not calling it.
Yeah.
I'm calling it Twitter. But yeah, I haven't opened, the app is on my phone. Like it's bye.
Yeah. Just delete it. I download it only sometimes for work because I have to do recap reports on the various theatricals and stuff. And so like my company still does the big medias. Mm-hmm. And at times I do find myself re-downloading it and like getting into the weeds so I can get the content I need and deleting it off my phone. Yeah. But yeah, Blue Sky is a perfect replacement of Twitter. It's nice because then it gives you grounds to grow. Yeah. Like these fresh new apps that are going to come out, grounds to grow. Yeah. Bring your current audience there.
And on that note for growth, because we are at time.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I saw the 5 minutes and I was trying to, okay, hi.
Oh,
yes.
God.
So no, it's great. Blue Sky. We
Sorry,
can put our, I'll get your Blue Sky handle later on. We can follow each other if you want to. But yeah, I'm so glad that you got something out of this journey, both of us, that we've come out stronger and better and have grown, not only as storytellers but as human beings living our everyday lives. So thank you so much for watching all of our madness here. Season 1 is officially wrapped. Yes, of the Finding Your Voice podcast. I think this is just going to lead us to delving even deeper in some of these topics and
season 2.
And
season 2.
More growth, I guess. I don't know. That's it. Be sure to follow us on all the social medias. Subscribe, all that. Follow us on Blue Sky, on the TikToks and things like that. Big shout out to Solomon again for being the man behind the whole thing, who's been instrumental and been a part of our journey. So we couldn't have done this without you, Solomon. So thank you so much.
No problem. I appreciate it.
And we'll see ya in season 2, baby.
Season 2.
Season 2. Oh
and
my
just
gosh.
remember,
that's right.
Just remember.
You do it.
You have a voice worth sharing.
And a story worth telling.
See you guys.
Bye.